Alright, there we go. We're live. Oh, I can't believe I forgot. It's been so long since I've had the... what is it? The Ultra Moon series things up. I forgot I didn't have the face cam set up. Let me go grab the face cam. I think I should probably add that. There we go. Nope. Wrong thing. No, you were supposed to grab the face cam. There we go. Grab the face cam and drink my mug down. There we go. I'll put it in a drop shadow later. I have to put it in a drop shadow later. But how is everyone doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. And yes, as you can see from the title, we are Masuda hunting a brand new species of Pokemon today. We're going to be shiny hunting for one of my all-time favorite shiny Pokemon in existence, MINIOR, and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. I never uploaded a short of the original shiny reaction for when we got Grubbin. I'm going to need to go do that at some point, but yeah. So we've got... desktop audio, forgot to unmute that. There we go. But yeah, so we're going to be just hunting for a MINIOR today. Do I think we're going to get it today? Heck freaking no. Our first shiny hunt we ever did back in Alola, we got super under odds. That was us getting Grubbin, our shiny Trick Room Grubbin, in 30 eggs exactly. Do I think... Oh, yeah, the first hunt we ever did. We had another hunt in this, which was the Bagon hunt, and then the Zapdos and the Bagon hunts. So, we've had a couple, shiny hunts go in this game, and they've actually all been below odds. So, I'm feeling a little lucky for this. Do I think we're going to get it today? Heck no. Heck frickin' no. But how are you doing, Flash? Zero checks a little bit. We haven't gotten the shiny yet. We literally just started, Crunchy. We just started the thing. But how are you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are doing it. Right, I have not battled that one guy. I completely forgot. I didn't battle that one guy yet. In school. The blight upon all existence. School. Yeah. The reason why I always go for Stoutland rather than Tauros is that Tauros's base walking speed is actually slower than the base walking speed of Stoutland. So if you ride on Stoutland, you actually move faster, and you don't need to, hold down the B button to run on Tauros, because this is the one that searches for items. And if there's a precursor to Ursaluna in Legends, fun fact. So, the way that I always prefer doing things is just riding on the back of Stoutland, because Stoutland is faster and I don't need to hold down the B button. Yep, this is Masuda method. I mean, Masuda method is generally quite boring when it comes to shiny hunting for streams, at least, for the streamer. But it's a good, like, chill and relax method for, playing in streams, because it means that I can spend more time, socializing and talking with you guys. I don't need to devote as much of my brain power to the actual game. It's just walking in circles. As opposed to, like, with things like the SOS chain, where I need to keep track of, okay, how many times is this thing attacked, and when will it basically, knock itself out from struggle. Yeah, it's overall a good method for that. I have a healthy respect for Stoutland. It is a Pokemon I do actually have a lot of respect for, mostly because a lot of the stuff in Unova is actually quite good. This is one of the many reasons why I think a lot of Unovan Pokemon don't overly stick out to a lot of people, is almost everything in Unova is actually quite good. The downside of this being, when, again, to use that syndrome quote from, the syndrome quote from The Incredibles, if everyone's a super, then no one will be. That is incredibly accurate when it comes to Pokemon games, and it comes to the available Pokemon. Because you look at a game, of course, like Black and White, where almost every Pokemon is actually quite strong. If you have that be the case, then nothing really stands out. But you look at a game like, say, for example, Sinnoh, where you've got things like, Garchomp on one end of the spectrum, which is absolutely amazing. And then, on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Lumineon. You've got, you've got Lumineon, you've got Bastiodon. You've got these Pokemon that are just overall not too impressive. Also, this Volcarona has Flame Body, right? This thing has Flame Body, right? Or is this my Swarm one by mistake? Nope, okay, so it has Flame Body. Wow, I didn't realize how long of an egg cycle that this thing actually has for levels. Well, the thing is, it evolves at level, 59. And I trained this thing up to higher levels above level 50 by battling all the Blissey. Which is one of the reasons why it's there. It's like I just never needed to battle with it ever again. So I use this thing exclusively for egg hatching in this game. I mean, I love Alola. Let's say, you're called I Love Alola. Those who don't know, first egg. We've got our first egg. Egg is hatching, and it's hatching. Egg is hatching. Nope, it is not sparkly. The main reason I actually am a big fan of Minior, and actually the origin, I guess, the superhero origin story for why it is I love Minior. It originates actually from this file of Ultra Moon, where I played with a Minior on my team, and that Minior, which I'll actually go because I have to show you guys because I have to deposit a Pokemon in the PC, is the absolute hero that carried through the main story of the game. Oh, it's not Hades. That's the wrong one. Oh yeah, that's my friend Artemis. There you go. There we go. The absolute hero that is Roswell. Roswell was just the hero that carried this file. And wait, actually, why did I bring the thing out? I need to keep the PC. I need to keep the party full so the eggs will always go deposited back into the PC, and that way it just keeps the thing up. Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building up a reserve bank. Yeah, I love Roswell. Roswell was great. Yes, I saw Kayla. I saw that you have the thing ready. I've been training up some things in the files. I've been training up some of the rest of the things, and that's the reason why I haven't really gone for it yet. But don't worry, I will be getting it. I will be getting them soon. This is the one thing about Let's Go that I'm not as fond of. I mean, Let's Go, I have a love-hate relationship with. You will have, found this out if you've been watching the series, and actually an episode today that goes up where I actually talk a little bit more about this, actually go into detail, for that love-hate relationship, is I actually enjoy the battles. I think the battles are actually quite fun, and I think the game overall is actually a very, very fun game. The part of it I don't care for is the Master Trainers and really the post-game as a whole. I mean, I'm not gonna. This isn't spoiling anything. We are gonna be fighting the Master Trainers, and overall, the Master Trainers are just a bit of a massive grind to, prepare for. And I don't think anyone, is, has any delusions about, people enjoy the grind, because, I mean, if you're only going to be facing, the Master Trainers of your specific Pokemon that you prepared throughout the story, then yeah, it's not that bad. But if you're, like me, and you're going through preparing for every single one of them, all 153 of them, because yes, there actually are 153 of them. Reason being, you have all of the base Kanto games, Pokemon, as well as the Mel 10 and Mel Metal, which is just the annoying part. But it's like the leveling them all up, because, I do catch combos on Chansey. And if you do catch combos with Chansey, it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad if you just do catch combos. Because, what was it? I got 90,000 experience on a single Chansey catch. I forget how it was, but you need to do it synchronized. You need two people, not two people. You need just like two Joy-Cons, because you can do it simultaneously with your one hand with one person. And you simultaneously catch them. Excellent first throw with a catch combo, and it needed to be a size bonus. And I think there was one other thing, but if you do all of that and you do it just right, you get 90,000 experience, which will catapult. Yeah, I want the egg. There we go. I misclicked on that. But yeah, you get like 90,000 experience if you catch combo right for every single Chansey that you catch. If you get a size bonus and you get the excellent first throw every single time. And, even if you're at the 90s, you're mid-low 90s, that's still 3 levels that you're getting. Now, the main issue with this is I stream. And I stream multiple games, and I record multiple games on the Switch. So I have to shut the game off, and that eliminates your catch combo. So, if I have like I'm rocking, now your combo doesn't stack if you just have 2 catches, then the catch combo, keeps going. But, if you have, a catch combo, you can just go 60. Well, if you assume that out of that 60, you have just 4 that are, 90s. Well, that's what, 3 levels per Pokemon? 3 levels per Pokemon times 6 times 4. So, 6 times 4 is 24, times 3, which is 60 plus 12, which is 72. So if you have 4 catches, you're basically getting a huge number of your Pokemon already up to good levels. And that's really where the optimization for the Let's Go Master Trainers is a thing. But the other part is that it's eventually candy, which is the other annoying part. But hey, I'm enjoying it. Like, I love the battling. I love the idea of the Master Trainers. I just think the execution is utter terrible for them. Because the funniest thing is, the idea of the Master Trainers is you learn the ins and outs of every single Pokemon to the point where you have mastered that Pokemon and you can make use of all of its skills. The thing is, the reason why it's so funny and it's so cripplingly ironic is that in the end, the best strategy for almost every Kanto Pokemon, because if I did my counting right, because I remember a while ago I actually counted this up. This was actually in anticipation of the Let's Go Master Trainers. Was I counted up, okay, how many Pokemon in Kanto are either Steel or are Poison type? Also, where's my stylus go? Oh, there it is. I counted up in Kanto how many Pokemon are there Steel type, how many Pokemon in Kanto are Poison type. Because you can't use Toxic on a Poison type, and you can't, use Toxic on a Steel type. They cannot be poisoned. And out of that, I think it's something like there's 25 or 24. It's something around that number. And so, okay, so you have what, 25? You just take that, you just lump out 25 from the 150. Just again, rounding down for simplicity purposes. And you of course, you take out the 6 or 8 that you can't battle because you don't battle with them. You don't battle with the legendaries, mythicals, or legendaries, mythicals, and Ditto. That's the other one. You don't battle with those, so again, you just lump out those 8, and then you add that to the 24, so get 32. Take away 32 from 153. That's 131 left you have to battle. That's a lot of Pokemon that you have to raise up. But then, you think, well, you take out of that, you've got how many Pokemon that are, multi-stage lines. I've done a lot of math on this. I've done a lot of math, and when it comes to preparing for the Master Trainers. And there's around, there's of course a lot of Pokemon that are 3-stage evolutionary lines when it comes to Kanto. So you've got, a lot of 3 stages, but you've also got some standalones and some, 2-stagers. So we just assume a nice round number of around 70, we just assume half, 75, total evolutionary lines. It's not that, it's just an assumption. So you assume that, okay, 75, then, well, you only gotta raise 75 Pokemon in general for the Master Trainers, because if you just evolve them, then you can just save all your time, hassle, and experience for that. Which, it's basically just catching Chansey mindlessly for hours when it comes to training for the Master Trainers, which, I don't know. The preparation is the annoying part of the Master Trainers, but the battles I kind of find a little bit interesting. But that's the funny part, is for most of them, you don't even need to battle them. You assume, out of that, there's, 60 you can't Toxic Stall? There's 60 you can just straight up use Toxic, Substitute, and Protect on. And that works, because a lot of the Master Trainer Pokemon have such absurd, AVs in Special Defense, and HP, and or any combination of that. So, what you're dealing with are Pokemon that have absolutely stacked bulk. That it's just, there's no feasible way of doing with it. Though that's one of the reasons why my preferred strategy of them is because they generally only have one super beefed up defense. Is, okay, well, this thing's a physical attacker, I'll just give it all special moves. The one that I point to for that is Onyx. Whenever she puts her hand on her chin, that means there's an egg. That is an old tip that I learned, and I just remembered seeing her, actually do the gesture of putting her hand on the chin. Anytime she does this, she has an egg for you. And, I'm vaguely good with math. I had to get good with math because I took ordinary and partial differential equations in college. I failed that, and I have no shame about failing ordinary and partial diff EQs, because it sucked. And yeah, if you can do ordinary and partial diff EQs, insane. But yeah, the way that I do the Onyx Master Trainer is, well, this Onyx has ridiculously beefed physical defense. But it has absolutely no special investment. Why not just, give it a special ground move? Or a special anything? Because it learns Flash Cannon. Because, Steelix learns Flash Cannon. And a lot of Rock types actually learn Flash Cannon, but so I have a special Onyx to destroy their Onyx. Because when you get to that level of, stats from the candy, because the amount of stats you can get from candies is bizarrely bonkers. You've got, you can give yourself, I think it's 300 or something stats, an additional 300 stats when it comes to candies. Well, if you're fighting something that has, say, 300 defense, and you've got 400 offense, that's not going to do all that much damage. Relatively speaking. But, if you've got, 300 offense, and they've got 100 or even 200, that actually is a lot more powerful because the difference is much more fractional. And that's one of the reasons why I like the Master Trainers, because it lets me do things like that where, I can use a fire-breathing Machamp to crush their super trained Pokemon that they have spent their entire life training this Machamp. I just send my Machamp out, it just breathes fire on it, and it dies. That's just funny to me. That just is silly. Or you've got things like, oh yeah, I've spent all my life training this Gengar. Okay, just beef up my Gengar. Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch. You can't do anything to it. It's just silly. It's the idea of just styling on the Master Trainers that I find very, very amusing. But then you've got the ones like, Kakuna, where you can't do anything. You know, when it comes to things like Kakuna and Metapod, there is literally nothing you can do other than make sure yours has a higher attack stat than the other guys and just chunk away at using Tackle. That's all you can do. You know, and like that's one of the reasons why the Master Race was a clever idea. It was so clever. But they just screwed it up. I mean, granted, they messed it up by making the stat bonuses be so absurd that it just takes forever to do. But otherwise, yeah, it's actually like a quite decently entertaining idea. You know, it's an interesting system. You know, I feel had it been a little better executed, you know, the Master Trainers would have been a very, very well received system. Okay, there we go. We got our next batch of 5 hatchin'. We batch hatch. We do a little batchin'. MINIOR! MINIOR is so happy. It's like, MINIOR is like Yoshi. It's so happy. You can't not be happy when you see that smiley little meteor. It's like, I don't know, it's like that's the thing about the Master Trainers that I like, is that there is a system like that in the game, and I remember something about the devs actually saying they put it in the game because they just needed to add something to fill endgame content. They didn't actually like know what to do with endgame content, so they just, you know, use it to fill in, which, I mean, I appreciate the honesty, but it doesn't change that I think the game is like that. It was a poor excuse for a post game. But I mean, it does go into what I mentioned about Kanto, with Kanto really doesn't have much of a post-game intrinsically. It's a bit of a weird paradox that the first game in the series... Well, not really paradox. Like, it's weird that, yeah, this game doesn't really age well. And that when they actually re-release the original games with just more in them, people don't like it. And a lot of that comes from just, like, projecting, yeah, the original wasn't that great initially. We just didn't realize it was that bad. So, yeah, I don't know, it's something that amuses me about, it's something that amuses me when it comes to, you know, those games. That, yeah, when it comes to remakes, people let out the true feelings, but they will guard the old ones, you know, jealously. It's like, you can't see that, like, this is the same game. Well, no, I mean, that is the power of nostalgia. That is the strength of something like nostalgia. It's one of the reasons why, like, it's one of the reasons why, if I know I am nostalgic for something, I will always I will force myself to analyze the game. And it will basically break that nostalgia. I deliberately go out of my way to break my own nostalgia for things, because I do not want nostalgia to blind me when I'm doing, like, an analysis of it. You can say it's excessive, because it is. However, it is what I do because I feel it is the important and the right thing to do when it comes to being an analytical. You know, when it comes to the analytical mind, you must break things like that. There is a what is I gonna say? What did it cost? Everything. Yes, I will basically force myself to almost dislike things I used to like for the sake of being able to look at them in a more objective way. It doesn't sound pleasant, but then you realize that it's kind of important if you want to do a channel like this where you are analyzing things. I mean, we do spend a lot of time analyzing analyzing games here. It's one of the things I actually like to do a lot more is I like to analyze the stuff, but it takes so long to do that. That's one of the reasons why we don't do as many discussion videos anymore. I still have the Fossil Fighters one in the works. It's the Fossil Fighters Champions one still in the works. I love that game, and even though I do have nostalgia goggles blinding, you know, a couple things on it, you know, a lot of the criticisms I actually have from the older game, they're still there. It's like, it's a good game. But there is a problem with it. There is an issue it has, and I do not shy away from that, but it does a universal improvement. It's a lot like BDSP to the original Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. It offers an objective improvement. Being able to use it. Well, I mean, Metapod being able to use tackle makes sense. I mean, all tackle is literally like ramming yourself into something, and it is shown that Metapod is able to, like, hop slightly, So it being able to hop means, okay, well, if you hop, you just hop hard enough. You can body slam things. You can slam into them, you tackle. Because that's the thing about a lot of Pokemon moves that I like, is you have things like, okay, Thunder Shock, Thunderbolt, Thunder. They're all very much like the same move, just different intensities of the same thing. Like you have Tackle, Headbutt, Body Slam, Double Edge. You know, all of these are moves that are just you physically slamming into the opponent. However, it's just different intensities of slamming into them, and I like that. It's like it's a neat thing in my opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna need to actually like, super organize my PC in Ultra Moon. And now that I think about it, because this is my file where I actually like imported everything and I bred a lot of stuff and I have like all the legendaries captured from I basically have all the legendaries from a previous file in this one. And I think one of every Pokemon that is needed for the Shiny Charm. As well as all of my extraneous breed checks. So this game is a little packed when it comes to PC space. So I'm gonna need to go through and start Thanos snapping. You know, I'll need to be I need to go Thanos on this game later. Which is not good, but also it's kind of necessary. You know, it is a bit necessary to do that every once in a while. It's not as easy as it is with Sword and Shield. I love that Sword and Shield made it so easy to mass release Pokemon by just importing them into Home. Well, I mean, just using Home to mass release them. I love that. I mean, again, mass releasing, fantastic system. It needed to be added. I get why they don't like having it, because again, it does. I mean, I get why they don't have it in a lot of the older games, and again, for a lot of the same reasons why they didn't have IVs be visible for a long time, is the way they didn't want people to see Pokemon as just like a mass thing that just like did not get attached to it. The idea was like you keep attached to your Pokemon, and you really like consider something like that. But nowadays, with like all the breeding for competitive and everything like that, like no, it's you kind of need a mass release thing with how much people shiny hunt. Yeah, I remember coming back to Omega Ruby about 3 years, and I was super overwhelmed by how many Pokemon I needed to release because there were so many things. Yep. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why whenever I go to complete something like a Pokedex, I will just get the base forms. You know, I will get the base forms, so I will get something like a Pidgey. Okay, then I'll evolve the Pidgey into Pidgeotto, and then Pidgeot. Because, well, then I have taken, okay, I need 500 I need like 400 Pokemon to fill the dexes. Assume, what? Every 2 on the safe side is part of an evolutionary line. I only need really 200 Pokemon, so I only take up 200 spaces, not, 400. But even these days, people don't even go out and actually complete the dex anymore. What they do is they have a bank, they have Pokemon Bank, or, Pokemon Bank, Pokemon Home, whatever, their derivative thing is, and they just trade back and forth. So they don't actually go out of their way to go and get everything again, which is one of the reasons why I find it hilarious how people complain about, like, not every Pokemon being accessible in every game. Because no one realistically cares about 95% of everything that exists, because all they do is they bring them into the game just to get the Shiny Charm. And once, they get them registered, okay, you're gone. No one realistically cares about that. It's just like a little bit of an amusing irony. Alright, so now with the MINIOR hatching, I can actually go and bring in the Drop Shadow. There we go. So I'll just bring in my Drop Shadow. I'll readjust this later. I will readjust my Drop Shadow later. There we go. 1 pixel there. There we go. It looks better. Like, you can't really tell the Drop Shadow is present. I mean, you can sort of tell it now, but because you can really only tell because it cuts through the M in Pokemon that there is that little bit of a Drop Shadow right there, but it just looks a lot better. I prefer it. I always like having the Drop Shadow just because it looks a little more professional and polished. If it's just, background image, It looks very, very weird to me. If you have that gradual transition, it looks nice. It looks professional. Professional, if you're playing a Splatoon game. Speaking actually of Splatoon, I've been doing a lot of Salmon Run off stream, and I finally got to Professional +3, and then it was like VP, the thing that comes after Professional 3. Professional 3. It's like a VP, something like that. A VP Executive, I think. Let me check that. Actually, no, I'll check it later. But yeah, I got to the thing that's after that plus Professional 3, and I'm very pleased. Because when you get to the higher ranks, or the higher pay grades, I think is what they were actually called in-game by Grisco, you have slightly... your odds of getting the gold scales from Salmon King is a little bit higher. You know, it's not by much, but it's still slightly higher. The other thing is that, well, if you're playing, you know, at that professional, you know, +3 level, well, you're playing with people who generally are, you know, they're if they got up to this point, they're generally a little more experienced. So, like, you can win more games, so you can win more, better odds of, you know, getting wins, getting Kozuhuna, and like, you know, it's a valid thing. Granted, it's suffering to get there, and if you lose, like, you will lose big. But overall, it's like, yeah, it's harder to do. But at the same time, it's like, if you're good, you can do it. Because I was doing a game, actually, there was probably like half an hour before we started the stream. I was doing a game of Salmon Run. And we got, it was Wave 3. It was High Tide. And we got 50 eggs on one wave. And I was like, that's insane. That our haul at the end of the game was, I think, 94 eggs in total. So in that one wave, we had half of our total haul. And I'm just like, frickin' heck, that was amazing. We didn't get Kozuhuna that game. We did not get a Kozuhuna fight that game. And I'm kind of glad. Because Kozuhuna on low tide, not low tide, high tide is painful. I still say the best tide to fight Kozuhuna is mid tide. I would say this is my, like, you know, this is, I mean, again, it's personal for everyone, and also depends on the weapon selection you have. But I generally prefer mid tide for Kozuhuna fights, because, you know, you think, okay, well, low tide you have, you know, the most area to move around in. The problem with that is you're spread out. If everyone is spread out, you can get separated easily, and then you can't group up to just, you know, shred Kozuhuna. And also, you know, he'll jump around a lot more often when he goes switches his targets. But if it's mid-tide, he doesn't jump around as often. You think, okay, well, you know, low tide, well, high tide, you know, he's not going to jump around often. It's true, but it's just cramped and crowded. If one of you guys gets wrecked, the other's probably not going to be able to as easily, you know, reach it if you're all just clustered together. That's why I love mid-tide, because it's that, you know, that perfect butter zone, to quote Mythbusters, of mobility and space. You know, it's good for that. That was one thing I learned from zombies. Origins. You ever try to revive someone cross-map on Origins? You're not going to make it. You can have stamina up, you can have all the stuff you want, you're not going to reach them if they're on the other side and they're dead and they're going to bleed out. Granted, that's one of the reasons I like Splatoon, where you don't actually have a bleed-out system. Where it's just, yes, you can revive them indefinitely, and you don't get penalized. I do like that. I mean, there's pros and cons. There are pros and cons to it. I mean, again, granted, I'd say that there's generally more negatives to it than positives, but yeah. But how's everyone doing tonight? Tonight, this morning, Jesus, sorry, my brain isn't still frazzled from last night, where I was just up for like 17 hours total. Lexi knows it was probably like 20 hours in total when at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm definitely back to being me. I'm back to 110% right now. Sort of. I mean, is it? I'm guessing I'm guessing you're shiny hunting for a shooting star. No, Alpha. No, it's just I want another hunt that isn't Dynamax. The reason why is we're doing the shiny Ho-Oh hunts every single day, and I like doing 2 streams per day nowadays. I like doing about 2 shorter ones, and I think overall I want to have another, because like two of our hunts that we're doing presently, the Poipole in Ultra Sun and the Fossil Revive in Let's Go, both of those are full odds. So that's going to take a while. Then the other is we're doing Ho-Oh and DAs, which, you know, I don't want to do Ho-Oh and DAs is absolutely freaking exhausting mentally because, you know, it's the Ho-Oh DAs. And I'm not going to do two Ho-Oh DA streams a day. And I was like, Minior's on the list. You know, Minior is on that list of 80 Pokemon to shiny. Well, now it's down to, you know, it's 79 now. So, you know, Minior's on that list. I've always loved it. Roswell, the Minior, was an absolute hero in the playthrough of this game. So, I'm like, you know what? I want to use Roswell. I want to get a shiny. I want to get a shiny Minior because it's delightful. I'm doing pretty well, Vanilla. I'm doing pretty well. Also, guys, don't forget to, you know, share this stream out to your friends so they know what we do here. We gotta keep that channel growth rocking and rolling. But yeah, it's the day's going pretty well so far. The day is going pretty well. What's going well for you guys? What's going well? Oh yeah, glad it's going well for you, Vanilla. But yeah, so what we're gonna be doing. Once, if we finish with this one, because I don't think we're going to finish this one today, we got ridiculously lucky when we hunted Grubbin. For those who don't know the story of the Grubbin, Grubbin was the first shiny hunt we ever did on the channel, and that was Masuda method. And that was over a year ago at this point. That was very much over a year ago, because that was, I think, September is when we did that. September or August is when we did that. And we got that in 30 eggs. Yeah. Ridiculously good. And I'm not expecting anything even close to that kind of results. Especially since, as we all freaking know, Ho-Oh is being a shoe. And my luck has been turning out for the worst. I'm about to make pork chops. Delicious. Pork chops is delicious. We actually had pulled pork yesterday for dinner. So, pulled pork is good. Tonight's gonna be roast, and I love roast. If only because I get to have baked potatoes. You know, if there was a universal side dish for food, it's the potato. Because you've got, okay, it goes with every meal of the day. You can have French fries with lunch, because French fries go with, like, most lunches, because, you know, it's French fries. They go with the dinner for, like, the same reason. You know, French fries, baked potato, mashed potatoes, scallop potatoes. It's like, there's just so many things you can do with potatoes. Then, on the same side, you know, breakfast. Hash browns. It's like, yeah, potatoes go with everything. It is the ultimate retoolable dinner, the ultimate retoolable food. It can literally do everything. It's like, yeah. Most of my favorite stuff that I like to have actually has potatoes, because, you know, potatoes are good. They're awesome. Alright, Meteor counter. We've got 20 eggs down. We're doing it in batches of 5, which, because Minior has such a very high, egg thing. Yeah, tater tots. Tater tots are delightful. Like, tater tots are dinner's version of a hash brown. They are smaller versions of hash browns you have with dinner and lunch. Because it is socially not acceptable to have a hash brown with anything other than breakfast. It's like, they're literally smaller versions of hash browns. We are shiny hunting Minior Charizard. We are shiny hunting Minior. The absolute hero of this file, Roswell, the Minior, was delightful. Like, when I started having Roswell on the team, I was like, I want to get the shiny eventually. Because I looked up, okay, well, what does Minior learn for its moves? Just because I like to check what moves my Pokemon get after I catch them. And I saw like all the different colors. Like, I knew Minior had multiple different colors. Because this was my second playthrough of Ultra Moon. I knew about all the different colors. But then I saw the black, shiny Minior. And I saw, I'm going to hunt that. Keep in mind, I saw that about 4 years ago. 4.5. Yeah. I got... Nice Charizard. Well, for me, shinies don't exist. For me, shinies don't exist. Yeah, and I saw that, I was like, I want that shiny. I want that shiny. It's like, it's so delightful. You know, call it basic, but my favorite thing when you... I mean, this is the standard strategy for a Minior whenever you use it on a main series team. Like any strategy for evolving a Minior. It's Shell Smash. It's just straight up Shell Smash and to kill everything. Because what you've got is you've got shields up, so it's got better bulk when it's shields up mode. Okay, it can tank hits quite well, because, you know, it's got a little bit of bulk. It doesn't have quad weaknesses. It's a bit slow. It's a bit on the slow side. So it's not going to get, you know, taken down before it gets stuff up. Okay, well, you deal enough damage to it to proc, you know, shield down mode. Well, now the shields are down. Now it's faster. Now it's got a little bit more attack power. But it's going for Shell Smash. So it boosts its speed again. And it boosts its attack power again. And then next turn it's outrunning you and slamming your face with rock slides. You can't stop the little meteor that could. The little meteor that could. And also, the hero, Roswell. The hero, Roswell. Yeah, I named many of them when I played. I named many of them. I don't really name my Pokemon when I do normal playthroughs. This was when I was starting to do the Let's Play of Heart Gold's the Heart Gold series, and I was feeling a bit nicknamey. I was like, oh, you know, I got some clever names for these guys. Let me give them some names. And that's Salazzle. Let me tell you about that Salazzle. That took a long time to find, because all I was finding was male Salandit. That was painful to look for, to get the female. But eventually I did find the female, as you saw, and she did pretty good. I mean, she struggled for a while because Salazzle and Salandit don't have great stats, and they don't learn too great of moves for a long time. But I mean, in the end, you know, it's hard to say that they didn't put in work, because they very much did. And Salazzle was especially fantastic at neutralizing those annoying Scizor that pop up in the Dragon Trial, while also having a move like Dragon Pulse. So it was good. That was fun. And then, you know, you got Mimikyu. You know, Mimikyu, Peekaboo the Mimikyu, who's delightful. Because, you know, we always love ourselves some Mimikyu. Mimikyu's delightful. Like, Mimikyu is... I still say Mimikyu is one of the best designed Pokemon ever made. I still will die on that hill. Because it is such a great idea for a Pokemon. It literally just wants to be loved. So it dresses up as Pikachu, because in-universe there's a whole lot of Pikachu merchandise. So it dresses up to look like Pikachu, so people will give it affection. It's heartbreaking, but also heartwarming that, yeah, it just wants love. I love it. It's adorable. But it's also obnoxious in Bubbles, because, Trick Room Mimilax. Swords Dance. Leech Life. Drain Punch. Fairy Ghost is a good typing. Disguise is a great ability. Yeah, it's really good. What do you mean, what thing's a Pokemon? What do you mean, Braydell? You mean Minior? Or Mimikyu? Because, yeah, Minior is a Pokemon. Minior is a delightful little Pokemon. It's a delightful little rock of a Pokemon. Like, Minior is what I like to say. Yeah, like, Minior is a rock. Yeah, Minior is a Pokemon. Minior is a Pokemon. It's a Gen 7 one. It's a Gen 7 Pokemon that isn't in Sword and Shield. Which I think might be one of the reasons you might not have seen it, because it's only in, like, one area of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, well, and even Base Sun and Moon, that's Mount Hakulani. The other Mount Hakulani Observatory Trail, and only in, like, specific patches of grass. And I think the only person who has one when you face them is Olivia. So it's a Pokemon that is very easy to go the entire game just not even noticing, because only Olivia has one. And, you know, you're just gonna, like, mindlessly bash your way through Minior. Like, it's a very rare thing, so it's not hard to have not heard of it. You know? It's not hard to have not heard of it. It's a delightful Pokemon. It's delightful. Ah, yep. Never played Gen 6. Yep, that makes sense. But yeah, I like Minior. I love it. It is adorable. And it will absolutely knock your freaking teeth out. Because it gets Shell Smash. Yeah. But also, guys, don't forget to leave a like on the stream if you haven't done so already. We are, yeah, don't forget to do that. But yeah, we're just hunting Minior. I've played Black, White, Shield, and Sword, but not so much. I highly recommend you play Ultra, not Base. Main reason is that, Base is, well, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon is built off of Base in a lot of the same way that, like, Emerald is built off of Ruby and Sapphire. So if you play Ultra, you basically get everything that you had in Base Sun and Moon. The only difference is Lucamine's motivations and one battle with her are different. However, overall, this game is just far superior. It's got a better story, in my opinion. The totem battles are far better, in my opinion. Like, not in my opinion. Like, they are far better. The level gap between things is much more narrowed, so they're actually just very, very difficult. Like, Ultra Sun and Moon is on the short list of most difficult Pokemon games in the series, in terms of pure numbers. If you just look at the pure numbers of the game, it is second in terms of difficulty for the most difficult Pokemon games. It is only beaten by BDSP. And the reason why the only edge BDSP has over this game in pure difficulty is NPCs have items in BDSP. The Pokemon are holding items. In this game, they don't. This game's got EVs in very strategic places, natures in very strategic places, but it doesn't have items. So that's the only edge BDSP's got. Well, there's one other edge BDSP's got on it, but yeah, this is the second most difficult Pokemon game. Yeah, R button being broken. I feel you, man. That happened to the L button and the A button on my old white DS. You know, I had the, what were the names of the DSs, like the colors? It was like, I know the pink one was like coral pink. I forget what the white one's name was. I forget what the black one's name was, but I remember they all had, like, you know, names like that. And my brother had the black one, and I had the white DS. And my brother wore out the A button on his DS so much, like, the A button was almost flush against the surface of the DS. Like, he mashed that button so many times, because we played a lot of Pokemon, and we just, you know, spammed A instead of, you know, waiting for the dialogue. So much so that we eventually mapped, we had to map in the settings, the A button to the L button, just to be able to play the games anymore. And it's just so, like, okay, you know what? Actually, this is going to be today's question of the day. This is going to be today's question of the day. What would you rather have break on a console or system? The joystick or the buttons? Midnight Purple's grayscale touchscreen, the point, no idea why, still need to get fixed. Wow, they really changed around the UI. I don't like that. I don't like that they changed the UI. If a system broke, what is least bad to break? Least bad part of a system to break. Joystick. A button. A or B buttons. Joystick / D-pad. There we go. Because like I know what I think is the least bad of them. You know, I know what I would say is the least bad to have broken. But I wonder what your guys' thoughts on it is. Because, I mean, we all have different opinions and different experiences. So, I'm curious about that. Midnight Purple. That's just an awesome name. Like, that's the reason I loved the names that they had for a lot of the DS colors. Was, yeah, they're just, like, awesome names. Like, yeah, Midnight Purple. Oh, it was, like, Charcoal Black? Is that what was that what it was? It was, like Snow White and, like, Charcoal Black, I think is what the names were. I vaguely remember, like, something like a tagline of something named Charcoal Black. You know, I don't remember. I think it might have been that. I don't remember, actually. Now I really want to know. I need to check this now. So, you know what? That's the right answer, Mudkip. That's the right answer. That's what I'm saying. Like, overall, what do you guys think is worse? Yeah, we'll take that. Original DS color names. You know, I need to know what these color names were now. Graphite Black. Oh, no, one-of-a-kind promotional. Charity. Oh, 5 variants of dolls were produced in Japanese. Oh, no, Super Mario Club. No. Original DS colors. Electric Blue. Graphite Black and Pure White. Okay, that's what the names were. Yeah, it was bundled with the Mario Kart. Graphite Black, Pure White, Turquoise Blue, Candy Pink. Oh, no, those are the other names. New Zealand. Candy Pink and those colors of blue were available in Europe. The Nintendo bundle, though the colors were referred to as pink and blue. The colors were available in the original DS. Really? I don't know it was called Coral Pink. I remember one was called Coral Pink. Strange. Like the DS just went so hard. The DS went so hard. I mean, there's a reason that thing survived so many years in various forms or another. Like, the DS came out when? You know, the DS came out. When did the DS first? So I remember like the big blocky DS. Yes, I want the egg. Release date 2004. Holy crap! The DS was 2004? Oh no! Oh, wait, it was released in November. The DS was released in America first. November 21st, 2004, the DS released in North America. Japan, December 2nd. Really? There was a time that we got a system before Japan did. Interesting. But yeah, the DS, 3DS, the DS ended its service career, I guess. You know, the DS ended its like service career, I guess, of gaming in like what, 2020? No, 2020, 2021, 2022 officially. It's like the DS had a lifespan that lasted over a decade and a half. Like we salute you, DS. There is quite literally a generation of gamers that was raised on the DS family. Yeah, Mudkip. There is a Nintendo console that was released in America before it was released in Japan. I know. I remember my first DS was one of the limited edition lime green lights that came with the cooking game. It was basically just a recipe book. Interesting. But yeah, like the DS, it went so hard. It just, oh, that thing was a workhorse. It is, Mudkip. Check Wikipedia. Wikipedia has sources. Wikipedia has sources. It was released in America first. It's just... I don't believe it either, Mudkip, but apparently it did. It's like... I only get one of those stupid coins. Hey, nice! Yeah, that's the reason why I don't really play Go anymore, is just kind of grindy after a while. It kind of got, like, super grindy. But yeah, I mean, granted, the other part, I mean, there was a couple other reasons, but yeah, mostly it was, grindy. It's actually kind of the same reason I stopped playing Unite. You know what? Stopped as in, like, slowed down my playing of Unite. We don't really do Unite on the channel as much anymore. I sometimes do, you know, online games and don't really publicize it. Because, I mean, yeah, there's things. Those coins. But those... I don't even know what those are. I don't know what those are. Those probably go with the new Pokemon that they released into Go. That is a Generation 9 Pokemon. That it probably has something to do with that. Because, you know, it says Paldea, Paldea is like the name of the new region. So I'm willing to bet it has something to do with that new Pokemon. Because, you know, that's how generally things go. Remember, they released Melmetal in, Meltan, like, you know, teased Meltan in Go long before it was officially revealed. Yeah, that thing. That thing is. Really, Zetar, your favorite space-based one is Minior. Interesting. Because there's a lot of space-based Pokemon. Like, there is, you know, the Clefairy family, obviously the most well-known one. Solrock, Lunatone, Jirachi, Deoxys, Metagross, because Metagross is a UFO. Magnezone, who is also a UFO. Not 300. I said Jirachi. I said Jirachi. To a degree, Rayquaza, because, you know, it's to a degree, because, you know, it lives in the ozone layer, technically kind of, it's debatable with Rayquaza. Technically, the Creation Trio, because, you know, time, dark, you know, time, space, technically they deal with space. Yeah, Metagross is based on, like, 7 different things. It's based on, like, a robot, like, a supercomputer, a robotic leg, a spider, apparently, a UFO. Metagross is based on so many things. It's like Suicune. It's just this conglomeration of, like, a whole bunch of things. I thought your name was, like, just changing the S. I thought your name was, like, Czar. Because it's a word. It's, like, the Russian version of Caesar, or Kaiser. Well, Caesar is not an actual thing, because Latin doesn't have C make the S sound. So it actually is Kaiser. That's where the German word Kaiser comes from. That's where, you know, the Russian Tsar comes from, is, you know, the same name of Kaiser. Words are fascinating. Words are fascinating. Now, I always just called it Zetar because, like, oh, your name's like, well, like a Z Tyranitar. Okay, Zetar? Because then a shortened version of Tyranitar is T-Tar, so I just, like, mentally defaulted to that. Well, no, it's T-Zar. No, T-Z-A-R, that's Tsar in Russian, right? Words are hard. My brain is words. So forget everything I just said right there. It was completely irrelevant tangentially. Only one thing about Ultra Moon I'm not fond of. Your movement is tied to the joypad, or the D-pad, or not the D-pad, the circle pad. That's the name of it. I was like, what? Not the joypad. Yeah, like what? Chugga said the name of it in Kid Icarus. Circle pad. That's what it's called. Because sometimes I feel like my circle pad's a little sticky, because, like, I don't know if, like, dust or stuff has gotten under it, or, you know, the oils from your hands just, you know, got on the thing, and then, like, you know, something like that with it. But yeah, I don't like using that thing, because I feel like I don't want to, like, push it too hard and, like, break it. Because, you know, after the Joy-Con drift happens on the Joy-Cons, I kind of get worried about any joystick-like thing on Nintendo systems. Because, you know, I have the nightmares of Joy-Con drift. I have the nightmares of Joy-Con drift. So yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a thing. Fun fact. I did not know Scarlet and Violet had Pokemon, Mudkip. I didn't realize Scarlet and Violet would have Pokemon in them. I did not realize that, Mudkip. Now that you say it, Zetar, it does. Now that you bring it up, I think I agree with that. It does give me vague Sableye vibes. Also, a horrifying story about, horrifying little thing about SOS chaining and Sableye. So, if you're SOS chaining and you're SOS chaining Carbink, it can occasionally call a Sableye. This seems weird. Then you read the dex entries. And it is mentioned either in Sableye, Gabite, or Carbink's entries that, Gabite and Sableye fight over territory of Carbink because they fight over who gets to eat the Carbink. Yeah. Gabite and Sableye fight over the adorable little gem thing. And that's why if you an SOS call, you get a Carbink, and it SOS calls for a Sableye, the Sableye will attack the Carbink. Yeah. Pokemon is a kid's game, my ass. It is. That's the reason I love that the dex entries are so screwed up. The dex entries are always so messed up. It's why I am looking forward to the Generation 9 entries, and I can't wait to see how screwed up they are. It's like, I want to see the darkness. I want to see the dark entries. Because, like, I remember the Marini one said, it was either Marini or Corsola said that, yeah, Marini eats the branches on Corsola's head. That's why if you're SOS chaining with a Corsola, it will call a Marini. Because the Marini sees the Corsola as a snack. You know, the idea is like, yeah, you're weakening these Pokemon, and you're making them easy for these Pokemon to come and eat them. It's like, that's horrifying. It's like, no! I don't need that thought in my head game! Why would you put that there? But now I'm like, yes. Yes, it feeds these games are dark as hell, and I love it. The lore of Pokemon is more terrifying than creepypastas, because creepypastas are made up nonsense. The lore of Pokemon actually makes sense, because a lot of the stuff in the Pokemon lore is based on real life things. So like that's why the Pokemon stuff is all the more terrifying, because it makes sense. It's not like, you know, the Godzilla creepypasta where, oh, my game is possessed by my friend that died and is now guiding me to face a demon that killed them. It's like, okay, that went from, like, interesting story to absolute crackpot conspiracy theory. And now my interest is gone. But then, you know, oh yeah, you know, your Pokemon. Okay. Yeah, your mask is a ghost of a person, and the mask is their face. It's simple, it's small, it's screwed up, but that's why we like it. You don't need to go 100 miles to make something creepy. Just ghost that keeps its face. Because it was once human. That's unsettling as hell. You don't need more than that. By the time you see some meat on the table, remember, that's a Pokemon. Yep. Well, I mean, to them, it's like the same thing as us eating a cow. It's like, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, but yeah, it's like, it's screwed up. It's like, yeah, when you think about it on that kind, it's like, wait, that's a Pokemon. Then again, if it's a Miltank, and none of us would mind. Because it's a Miltank. None of us would mind if it's a Miltank, though. Or, you know, my headcanon where everyone in Pokemon are just a vegetarian. There's a whole... I remember there was an idea we had rolling around a while ago for a series on the channel, which was me reading out all the creepy Pokedex entries, which is like, oh yeah, Charmander, if its tail goes out, it dies. Spoink. If it stops bouncing, its heart stops. Salamence. Mega Salamence will fly so fast it will cut its trainer in half. Like, yeah. Pokemon's a kid's game, everyone. Pokemon's a kid's game. Oh, crap, I forgot to switch up my Minior. Hey, Andreas. Someone please go grab Andreas' link, please. How are you doing, Andreas? How are you doing, my friend? It's like, yeah, Pokemon Dex entries, they go super hard and they go super creepy, and I love them. Because at the same time, it's like, yes, I like that. I like how creepy it is. You. You. I need to... Yeah, I need to organize these better for speed things. There. You. And you go there. There we go. There we go. Okay. This should be a little easier. Give me those megas. Yep. So many megas have dark entries, which is one of the reasons why I say megas are fueled by friendship, my ass. Megas are not fueled by friendship. They are fueled by the murderous intent of trainers to win. And I'm someone who generally puts like, yeah, winning is I play to win. And I'm like, no, that's screwed up. Like, you are like, if your whole desire is to win, don't hide behind, oh, it's friendship that powers it when all you're doing is making yourself suffer to win. At least I'm honest about being in it to win it. At least I am honest. It's getting warm in my room. Had to open the window. Yep. So many of those Megas entries are so screwed up. They're so effed up. I mean, the terrestrializing is just give it a funny hat. It's like, it's just funny hat. Terrestrializing. It's like, I don't know. I like the funny hats. I like the very funny hats. They're very amusing. They're silly hats. It's strange thinking, but by this time in the Grubbin hunt, we already had our shiny Grubbin. Like, that Grubbin hunt went by like that. It was 30 eggs, shiny Grubbin. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of funny. Doesn't Houndour's make... Yep. Yeah, I mean, Houndoom's is the same thing. Houndoom's entry is like the same thing. It's melting. It is literally melting. Because, like, the power going through it is just heating it up so much that it is melting. It's like, that's so screwed up. But... actually, funny thing about that. When I was in college for a language class, it was like a persuasive essay I had to write. And I actually used, you know, like the mega entries and like the generalized things that, like the generalized, you know, whole thing like megas and things like that, and like the darker subtext of Pokemon as the basis for that persuasive essay, which was, you know, Pokemon is not a kid's game. The thing is, Zetar, even if Shedinja was in Scarlet Violet, it wouldn't be a problem. Like, this was actually something that we were talking about, I think it was either 2 streams ago, is that a lot of people that, like, make the Shedinja memes, like, oh yeah, Shedinja's gonna be broken for things, like the originators of them, are big VGC heads. Like, they're players that have their head in the metagame and they know what they're doing. And they're kind of like playing on the mythologized joke of Shedinja being immortal. When, even if it could terrestrialize, no matter what it goes into, there would be so many different ways of killing it. Because weather would still destroy it, status would still destroy it, Hazards, residual damage would still destroy it. Mold Breaker would still destroy it. Weather would still destroy it. You know, that's like the thing about Shedinja is that and I mean, granted, a large part of Shedinja's mythology and mythos of like it being so unstoppable comes from its ability to toaster the big legendaries. But that's because none of the big legendaries ever carry moves that Shedinja is good against, because they're just, for what their typings are, those moves don't help them. And it's a counter meta pick. And it will counter meta pick. It's one of the reasons why, like, when you see it, it pops off, because, yeah, nothing can touch this thing. Because it's in a metagame where it is going... You bring... This is kind of like the thing about Shedinja. You bring Shedinja into a metagame where you know residual damage from things like weather and Pokemon that get moves that it is weak to. So, like, there's not a lot of fire type, there's not a lot of rock type, there's not a lot of dark or ghost types. Not a lot of flying types. You know, you basically bring... There's no Mold Breaker Pokemon. There's no moves that will ignore abilities. You bring Shedinja into those metagames where you know those are not going to exist. So, it can make the most use of it because it's just not going to be able to be targeted by all these big powerful things. And the idea of Shedinja isn't so much Shedinja itself is what wins. It's the mind game of getting the opposing player to doubt their own playing ability, to doubt their own team construction, because a lot of the big legendaries, you know, this, like, there was Worlds a couple of weeks ago. Someone brought a Shedinja, and it dumped on, you know, Dynamax, Calyrex, Ice Rider, and, you know, you see things like, you know, this little buggo taking on Dynamax, Calyrex. You know, this terror, this menace of the battlefield. And it just says, nah, bro, and just laughs at it. You know, people think, well, oh, it can beat this thing, it can beat, like, everything below it. When its biggest enemy was always Tyranitar, because Tyranitar has sand. And, you know, Tyranitar's always good in non-restricted legendary doubles formats. So, Shedinja's just never gonna be a big problem. Are you new here? Hey, welcome back, Ernie. Welcome back, Ernie. How are you doing? We are just hunting for a little thing called, MINIOR. He has, like, a Mold Breaker. There's a couple of moves that ignore abilities. You know, it's... Even if Shedinja was in Scarlet Violet, it wouldn't be that big of a threat, because there's so many ways of getting around Wonder Guard. But a lot of people don't really realize that, because not a lot of people play as much competitive, so they don't realize all the little ins and outs of the ability. And, like, all the little ways of beating. Because a lot of people think, well, the way you beat Shedinja is through direct damage. You don't realize, well, residual damage would kill it. Status would kill it. You know, status, residual, recoil, or, like, anything like that. They don't realize, like, that would actually deal with it. And, you know, there's other ways of circumventing it. But not always is that realized fully. And it's one of the main reasons I kind of liked the idea of it coming in, because then I would just come in with my Tyranitar, like, okay, every Shedinja is gone. Because either you're going to Rastalize Electric with that air balloon, which leaves you perfectly open to a little bit of sand, or you're going with safety goggles, and you can't use any of that stuff, and you gotta go to something that's either ground, steel, or rock, and two of those are weak to earthquake. And then the other one's weak to fighting. Well, no, the other one's weak to, like, water, and I always have Gastrodon. It's like, that's my favorite thing, is that, yes, it doesn't matter what you're gonna be bringing. There are ways around it. And I always found that amusing, that people didn't realize that. Yeah, we're gonna be streaming Splatfest. We're gonna be streaming Splatfest, Arnie. Splatfest has not started yet, but we will be streaming it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much on that Team Fire. I'm very much on that Team Fire. Because I do love me my Flake Coco. I love it. So I remember we were talking about this actually a couple of days ago about why I was on Team Fire, despite the fact that for a long time it didn't seem like I actually liked Fire-type starters for a while. But it's like, yeah, my favorite starter from Gen 1 is Charmander. You know, I like Charizard because I've used Charizard a lot in competitive. I have very positive experiences with it in competitive. And the first time I actually used one was like 4 years ago. And I was like, yeah, this thing's actually pretty fun to use in a main story. And, you know, using competitive, I have a respect of it from competitive. You know, Venusaur, it was the first one of the Kanto starters I ever actually used, but it just never really stuck out to me, and, you know, Blastoise is just, it's defensive. It's not, like, as fun as I like damage. Gen 2, favorite is Feraligatr for, like, the same reason, just good damage. Gen 3, there's, like, none of them particularly stand out to me. Like, not a fan of Blaziken, and then the other two is just, like, I like both of them. I'm not a big fan of either the, I'm not, like, super one way or the other on them, and also no spoilers. Anyone who says any spoilers regarding Scarlet Violet and what things turn into, you're gonna get banned instantly. That is the one rule we have here, is no spoilers. I think people are gonna pick Fire because early generations not having access to more. I mean, that's also true. I mean, I would agree with that in a lot of cases, because that is a very true statement. You know, there are very few Fire types accessible in a lot of the games. The funny thing is that as of, like, Gen 5 onwards, they've basically done away with that. You know, as of Gen 5, they have actually made it quite easy to get Fire types in every game. Because you've got, in, you know, Gen 5, you know, Darumaka is in a required area you have to go through. You know, Darumaka, if you don't have, if you picked, Oshawott, you get Simisage, well, Pansage. Not Pansage, Pansear, that's one. Gen 6, you get Talonflame, well, you get Fletchling, which eventually evolves into Talonflame. I go with, like, the evolutionary line. Whenever I talk about, like, starters, I talk about the evolutionary line as a whole, not, like, the individual thing, because I see the evolutionary line as a singular unit of things, not, like, the individual Pokemon. Yeah, it's, like, it's not, because, like, people don't like Charmeleon. People don't like Charmeleon. They like Charizard. People don't like Wartortle. They like Blastoise. People don't like Combuskin. They like Blaziken. The only other one is, like, yeah, people love Grovyle because Mystery Dungeon. And people, like, they like Marshtomp because, like, well, the Mudkip line is just always great. But yeah, no one really cares for the middle stages in a lot of cases. It's, like, the final stage is the one that people care about in the early stage, in the first one. That's the ones people care about. But that's why I say, like, yeah, it's, like, it's the same unit as a whole. When it comes to, like, people's affection for things, it is a unit continuity, but, like, in any other situation, yeah, they're not the same thing. Well, that's not people liking Combuskin. That's people liking a joke. That's not the same thing. You know, most people don't care about something like Bidoof. They only care about the joke of Bidoof. You know, most people don't, they care for what's its name? I forget the name of it. What's Pidgeot, that's what it is. No one gives a shit about Pidgeot. But the jokes from Twitch Plays Pokemon. No one cares for Omanite. They just go to Twitch Plays Pokemon jokes. It's the jokes more than anything. It's the jokes more than anything is what has perpetually kept people's interest in a certain Pokemon, when otherwise no one would realistically care about it. Oh yeah, Oricorio can be really dang good. Oricorio can be really dang good. Because anytime you use a move that has the word dance in its name, it will automatically use that same move. So if you use a move like Quiver Dance, it gets a Quiver Dance. If you use a move like Dragon Dance, it gets a Dragon Dance. If you use like Petal Dance, it uses Petal Dance. It's really, really, really good for that. The problem is, its stats suck. The thing is, that's the whole idea, is that it's supposed to be like used in conjunction with those things. So I found out, Gen 9. I found one in Pokemon. Wow. I mean, that happens with a lot of people with certain Pokemon. They don't realize they're from these certain gens because they're just not the most exposed to it. So that makes sense. But yeah. You know, the other one like that I know is, I mean, I've had that myself with a couple of Pokemon. Macargo, Slugma, and Skarmory, I all thought were Generation 3 Pokemon. Until 4 or 5 years ago when we started the Let's Play for Heart Gold, Soul Silver. I was like, oh, wait, these are actually from Generation 2? I thought they were from Gen 3. You know, and it's like that we've all got those little like things like that we just kind of forget and like lapse on them. I'm not gonna give a name to Minior. I think we're gonna go for probably a couple. We're gonna go. We're gonna go for another 45 minutes. We're gonna go for like 40 more minutes. We're not gonna end off quite yet. I'm uncertain if we are gonna be doing another stream later today though, because like that's like this is kind of the thing about like the double streams. Is certain days I'm feeling up for them, and certain other days I'm just not feeling the double stream. Depending on how it goes, I may do it because I still got to get recording a lot more. Nope. Go away. I still have a lot of recording to do for like the well, not a lot of recording, but a lot of prep work for the master trainers. Then the recording for them, IMO, Miniors, but I agree. I agree. Minior is like. Minior is a much more interesting version of, like, the same idea that they were trying to go for with Aegislash, because Aegislash is just broken. Like, the main issue with Aegislash is it's too good. It's controllable switching between ridiculously good stats, and there's no, like, it doesn't have as easy of a typing to exploit. You know, you can fairly easily exploit the typing of a Minior, like, as you know, for Minior's good offensive profile with the rock typing, you know, flying isn't so great offensively. I mean, it has acrobatics, which is very, very good, especially if you use, you know, White Herb in conjunction with Shell Smash. You know, that's really, really strong. But that's also the only thing it's got. You know, it as a flying type move. You know, rock move, it's got Rock Slide, and you know, like Rock Slide or Power Gem, but it's generally gonna go Rock Slide. And you know, Minior has. You know, Minior also, like, it's just less powerful than Aegislash. You know, so it's more fun to play with. Like, this was actually like, another thing that we were actually talking about a couple of streams ago with regards to, like, Black Ops 3 Zombies. Was a lot of people don't really find Black Ops 3 Zombies as fun as Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. Because in Black Ops 1 and 2... You know, even back in World of War, there were just some weapons you get out of the box and things you get off the wall that were garbage, and it made there were a lot of just garbage ones, a good number of meh, like they're usable, they're okay, they're usable, I can work with this, and then there's the great and super amazing ones, and there's so few of those that. The large pool of meh and okay stuff makes them just shine so much higher. And you get more satisfaction out of using something that's, you know, not as powerful, but is still good. You know, it's something that's, you know, really good. And it's like, that's why Minior is so good, is that Minior falls into that category of, it's really, really strong, and it's a lot more powerful than a lot of other things, but it's not so head and shoulders above everything else that it's just brainless. You still need to, you know, do a couple things. You still need to be smart with it. And, you know, you still got to be clever. It's not just a brainless kill button. And, like, that's why we love Minior more. It's just more interesting. Because, like, you think that, yeah, people love the more overpowered stuff, but there's a part where something becomes so overpowered, it's no longer fun to use. Because it's just an instant win button. It's not, you know, it's just monotonous, and it just becomes bland. Why MINIOR, like, so awesome. We love MINIOR. It's so awesome. I love it. MINIOR is a good bean. MINIOR is a very good bean. I mean, yeah, I love Shell Smash MINIOR. It's fun. It's... Anyone who says they do not find a Shell Smash MINIOR fun is either lying or has never used MINIOR. Like, it is not possible to not find fun. It also has a lovely shiny, Litten. You also are 100% right. It has a lovely shiny. It's like... I've said my piece on the custom-made shinies from Generation 6 onwards, and why I'm not always the most ecstatic about them. But MINIOR is one of those, like, it stands, I was like, I love this. Because all the little, like, little speckle triangle thingies on it, all those colors correspond to the other MINIOR colors. Like, it's a thing that only works when you remember it has all the colors in it. So, like, yeah, that makes it work. You know, it's like why, you know, I love Shiny Mimikyu, where Mimikyu's shiny, while intentionally designed, is one of my favorites, because Shiny Mimikyu is just a grayscale Mimikyu. It's designed to emulate the original look of the older games where everything was grayscale. That's why it's got that, you know, grayed out color scheme for it. It's like, it's bland because it's supposed to be. Like, that makes it work. You know, but when it's like, it's meant to... When something is a shiny and has a color scheme that is meant to be... You know, it's meant to, like, represent something rather than, you know, look cool, which is the reason I don't really like any of the Tapu shinies, is that they're designed to look cool. They're not designed to be, like, representative of, like, a thing. Like, that's the reason, again, MINIOR's so fantastic. That makes me love those custom-made shinies. Like, yeah, MINIOR, it's representative of all the MINIOR forms. It's not any individual specific MINIOR color that's shiny. It's its own, like, separate subspecies, and I love that. It's delightful. Yeah, like, MINIOR is great. Exactly. Shiny MINIOR equals confetti. It's delightful. I love it. The delightful meteor from down the asteroid, I guess? Down the solar system? Anybody else on the moon? Makes me want to play some. I love the Ultra games. I love them. I think they get way too overhated. They've got their flaws, but also the community wants a hard Pokemon game. This is the second hardest game the series ever offered. Until BDSP came out, this was the hardest game in the series. And I don't get how people didn't, like, I don't like that thing. The community is so fickle. The community is so fickle that they want a hard game, but when the hardest game of the series comes out, they lambaste it. It's like, I don't get that. Like, what? You guys want a hard game, and then you absolutely rip the hardest game that exists down, because why? It's like, it doesn't make sense to me. I never understood that. But, I mean, they must have their reasons. They must have their reasons. And by they must have their reasons, I mean it's complete nonsense. Because it doesn't make sense. You guys want hard games. Okay. I mean, I think the main reason why is that it doesn't specifically say challenge mode, and they want something that says, this is hard mode. You know, they see it as, well, it's just a Pokemon game. Pokemon games are easy, they're all easy. It's like, they want, like, a headline that says challenge mode, which I don't understand. Because things don't need a specific sub-mode of hardness to be hard games. I don't know. I mean, like, that's the thing, is it's... that's the thing that just, I mean, I guess it doesn't really click. I guess it doesn't click for me because I am, you know, Mr. Analytical. I will look into things to that extent. And, you know, I look into things to an absurd degree. And for me, it is much more about the actual, you know, the analytical nature of the game rather than just, you know, what it is face value. And a lot of people I recognize don't really look into the games to the same extent to notice and, like, compare them as much, which, yeah, if you're not really looking into, yes, these games all have EV values. You know, everything in this game has 252 EVs, that has dedicated second natures. That's why this game is the second hardest game in the series. But the game never verbalizes that. You can't really tell, and so you just think it's a lot like the other games, and you don't realize that you have gotten so much better as a player that even the hardest games in the series are no longer that hard because you fundamentally understand them on a much, much higher level. So it's kind of this weird thing of you have become so good at a game, you can't really recognize when it is challenging you because you just automatically know how to react to things. You automatically know how best to play, that a challenge never really comes into play. It's just, you're just that good. And it's a weird, not really a paradox, but like it's you can't recognize a challenge because you're just too good to be able to recognize. It sounds weird to say, like it's not an easy thing to verbalize, because like I'm saying this all wrong, but I'm probably saying it wrong, but you guys get what I mean. You guys know what I mean. Welcome in, Mudkip. Are you here to feed on my suffering again? Are you here to feed on my suffering? Because the answer to that question is always yes. Let me check what Minior's hatch cycle is. What Minior? Minior has a hatch cycle of what again? Minior Bulbapedia. There we go. Minior Bulbapedia. Yeah. Yeah, I love the Alola games. I think they're fantastic. Minior is a spherical Pokemon. I love Shields Up Minior. I love the face. Cause like the crack looks like a smile. The crack looks like it's a big smiley meteor. It's a smiley falling star. Really? 6,400 to 6,600 steps? I mean, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, 6,000. Chop that down to 3,000. You chop that down to around 3,100, 3,200. Eggs every 255 or, yeah, 255. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense that it feels that long, because a lot of the stuff that I've been hatching lately is much, much lower. Let's look at, there we go, speaking of hatching. How are you doing, Casual? How are you doing? The Casual Chikorita, not the Casual Criminalist. Hey, favorite Gen 7 and favorite rock type, nice. I love Minior. It is not my favorite rock type, because I love me some Gigalith. You know I love me some Gigalith. But it is a delightful little Rog. Yeah, like it's compared to Boldor, it's nothing. Like Roggenrola. Roggenrola was like 4,000 steps at max. Chop that down to 2,000. This is into the 3,000. Okay. Okay. That's why it feels so long, because it actually is so much longer. Starburst. Interesting. I named mine Roswell. And Roswell was the absolute hero of this run in Ultra Moon. Don't forget to leave a like, guys, if you haven't done so. Likes for luck. Likes for shiny luck. I'm looking forward to Scarlet Violet. You live in interesting. Yeah, I'm a big fan of like those UFO hunting shows on the History Channel. I'm like, it's a thing that falls from the sky. Yeah, it makes sense. It's Roswell. It's a star, and it's from space. And I mean, also this was me from 4+ years ago at this point when I came up with that name, and I was like, oh, just first thing that pops into my head, I'll name it that. Cause like, you know, my starter in this file was my Rowlet, which, you know, eventually became Decidueye, which I named Hawkeye. You know, Hawkeye the Decidueye works. Hawkeye's also my favorite MCU character, by the way. Favorite Marvel superhero is actually Hawkeye. Not a common answer, but I like Hawkeye. Ryu, the name for my Komodo, because, you know, Ryu, it's like either, I think it's Japanese for dragon, and, you know, Ryu, the Street Fighter guy, you know, he fights. He goes bunch of fights. Venomous, you know, obviously, it's self-explanatory for my Salazzle. It's self-explanatory. My Mimikyu is named Peekaboo. Yes. Yes. It's I did not see it. So after looking at the starter Evo, like, it's not gonna say anything. Luck, could I've changed my mind on which starter picking? Interesting. If something got Mudkip to change his mind, that must be impressive. I'm not gonna look at the leaks. I'm not gonna look at the leaks because I don't want to see them. I want to go in blind. I want to go in blind. I like the surprise. Like, that's the thing that, for me, made seeing Incineroar and Rillaboom, like, just such a magical experience. Like, the reason why I don't look at leaks, it actually goes back to my first time playing Ultra Moon and actually seeing Decidueye for the first time. Like, this is a thing that only Decidueye as a Pokemon has, that nothing else does. Is when I was playing, I forget the first battle where you fight How's Decidueye. You know, How when he has a Decidueye. Because I at this point had Intern. I knew what Incineroar turned. I knew what Litten turned into. You know, I just seen it. I didn't know what Decidueye was. And when I saw Decidueye, I was like, this thing is awesome. And I love it. But my pick of Incineroar, I still think, was the better one. And that's the reason I love Decidueye. It's like, Decidueye is that good, but Incineroar is just a little better. We did not get the Kabuto. We have a bunch of ongoing hunts. I've decided to sort of shelve some of the other series and, like, focus it, like, hammer a bit more on Pokemon stuff for now, because that's what works well with the algorithm. So we have an ongoing of Kabuto, an ongoing of Poipole, an ongoing of Ho-Oh. The main reason I decided to go for a Masuda hunt for this is we're doing 2 full odds hunts. I didn't realize that Kabuto and Omanite were full odds until after starting it, so I can't take that back now. Poipole, I knew going in, was going to be full odds. And you add that to Ho-Oh, you know, which I have no idea when we're going to get Ho-Oh. I was like, I need a series of a shiny hunt that we will finish relatively fast. You know, not relatively fast, like we need a shiny hunt that is not going to take us, you know, 2 months to actually get. You know, it's some of that. I'm sure you can DM me at casual. You know, I want, like, a hunt that I know I will eventually be able to finish in a relatively, not short time span, but, like, one that reasonably won't take me, like, a month to do. And that's why I decided to, you know, okay, we'll do, because I think what I've decided to start for, like, shiny hunts is I'll do 2 long-term hunts, so shinies that I know are going to take a long time to do, things, you know, like full odds reset hunts, and have 2 short-term hunts, which, you know, go by significantly quicker because of, you know, higher odds or something like that. Spinarak is on the list, Mudkip. Spinarak is on the list. And, just like to keep things going. Maybe 3. Again, every shiny honeyman has its own, fast and slow different ways. There's, like soft resetting for Zapdos. We got Zapdos to odds, relatively close to odds, in 4 streams. That's not that long, realistically speaking. And, overall, that's not too bad. I feel like I'm gonna be the first person to see shiny animation in the new game, as I have gotten shiny Giraffe Egg waiting at home. Nah, there's gonna be people that are gonna there's people that are gonna get it. There's people who, like, the first encounter they're gonna have is gonna be the shiny, because you have to get to a certain point in all of the games before you can access things like home. I think you need to, I think, get the Pokedex. There's a few things you need to do before you can access in a game home. I mean, that's the way it was with Pokemon Bank. So I'm assuming it's gonna be the same way. And there's gonna be someone who's gonna run into, like, their first encounter is gonna be a shiny. When you have, let's lowball it to, like, let's lowball it to day 1, 5 million people. It's gonna be way more than that, but we're lowballing. We're lowballing. When you've got that many people, doing encounters, the odds are 1 in 4,000. 5 million. You've got high odds that around, even further lowballing it, 10,000, 1 in every 10,000 people is gonna have a chance at seeing it. Getting a shiny very, very quick. I think they're probably going to lock the starters to shiny lock. Main reason being that they've done that lately. They've historically been shiny locking starters. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Casual. Like, I'm not sure what you mean. Like, to see the thing. I'm not seeing anything. Yeah, I think that they're going to be locking the starters. It's what they've been doing. And there is a very good reason that they're going to lock the starters. And, it's one of those things where, yeah, people are going to say it's corporate shenaniganery, but it's actually a legitimately good reason, because it does actually hurt the reception of the game. If you have, content creators, because people don't really realize the influence content creators have on the reception of a game. If you have so many shiny, hunters that are soft resetting for shinies and that people are watching, and you're not actually seeing the game, they're, complaining about, oh, I can't get a shiny, I can't get a starter thing, and they haven't been able to start the game, then that's not going to inspire as much enthusiasm from audiences that haven't gotten the game already, which overall hurts the game, and overall hurts the reception, overall hurts the sales, and as such, does negatively affect the game. Which is one of the reasons. Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. It's, I mean, it's more so a joke that Mudkip and I have going. It's a joke like Mudkip and I have going with each other is one of the reasons why I find it amusing. But yeah, I'm Fuecoco, Miriam. I'm going strictly Fuecoco for my main run. I do 3 runs of the game. I do 1 run of, my personal file with Violet. I do 1 run of my personal file with Scarlet. Then I have a secondary account on my Switch that I use for a lot of the Pokemon games like Let's Go and such, that I will play my 3rd file of that on. So I use all the starters. Hey, Johnny. And that's the way that I do things. So I'm going to use all 3 of them, but the first starter I'm using is Fuecoco. The first one I am using is going to be Fuecoco. Because I do like Fuecoco. I saw it, I'm like, this is my starter. Nothing's changing my mind. I don't care what it evolves into. This is adorable, and this is precious. This is my precious little fire pepper. My Fire Pepper Crackle. I love it. He is adorable. He is an adorable little thing. How much do I know about it? Absolutely nothing, Mudkip. I have been staying deliberately blind on the game. That is my MO. I have been deliberately staying blind. But yeah, it's like, I know that the leaks are out. I know that people are posting them all over Twitter. And I'm just like, okay, logging out of Twitter for the next 2 weeks. And it's just like, it... I remember one of my friends did explain like the reason why there are people that do post leaks. Like they want to like inform people like, yeah, this is the stuff that's in the game, so people can see if they want to get it before they get it. But at the same time, then there are people who want to leak information about the game, and they do it with the best intentions. That they do it with nothing but good intentions of wanting to inform people. However, once that information is put out there, you get the unscrupulous people that like they want to piggyback off of that. They want to get growth. They want to plash it all over places to get growth. And then there's the people that want to be absolute dickheads, and they will post things like leaks just to be assholes. I have not paid attention to any of the official information, Mudkip. I haven't paid attention to official information. Yeah, like I have stayed blind not on just on the leaks. I have stayed blind on the official information. Mostly because like for me, a lot of my views on playing the new games was shaped very much from my experiences of Ultra Moon and then Sword and Shield, which was putting together a team as I went and just enjoying not really overthinking a team construction. It was a simple pleasure that I just really had lost for a while that I now really enjoy doing. And it did bog down a bit of my going into Sword and Shield, where I was like, oh, I want to have a this thing for type coverage. And it kind of bogged down the overall experience by me going out of my way to find certain Pokemon, certain typings for things. And then going back thinking about how I played Ultra Moon, where it was just I didn't really care about team construction. I'm just gonna pick Pokemon I think look neat for most of the game. Then afterwards try and maybe figure out something. And that's why I do what I do, because I just think that is I just found that most enjoyable. And I mean I know other people otherwise like they. It sounds weird, being the massive competitive head that I am. Even when I play the games otherwise, I like to put together a very well thought out, methodically planned team for type coverage, type balancing, and all that shenaniganery. But when it comes to a first time experience, I like to go, simple. It's weird, but I like to go simple. And I think... So I know I'm going to be using Fuecoco, and whatever Fuecoco turns into. The only other things I really know about the game are, like, Miraidon and Koraidon, I think that's how the names are pronounced, and, like, the Mega Man-looking characters, because the last thing that I saw was the trailer with, like, the flamey armor-wearing thing, like the one with the purple and the red armor things. And I remember that because my friend Echo said the things they just revealed look straight out of Mega Man. I was like, okay, I have to see this. And they look like stuff out of Mega Man. They look straight out of Mega Man, and I agree with that. But, yeah, that was, like, where the information I've seen kind of stops. I know about that, Gimmighoul thing from Go, which, that's just something that, just diffused into things, because I saw that in the content creators chat. And, like, I wouldn't call it that a spoiler, because I remember that it's probably going to be a mythical or something like that, because they did the same with Meltan, when it came to Go was they had, that was how they basically revealed Meltan's existence was in Go, and I don't really mind that. I was like, okay, it's probably a thing. It's not important. It's just a thing that exists. And yeah, it's like I like to stay blind. It's like, and because like it's a Pandora, like spoilers are a Pandora's box. It's when you open that box and you see things, you can't unsee them. It's you can't unsee them. And there are people that there's going to be people that will think, oh, whether I like something or not, I just see the thing and like, I'll know if I like it or not. But if you experience it by seeing it on just like a sheet that says this is what this thing is, you don't have that discovery, that, oh, what's this thing? Ooh, this is interesting. And that curiosity, which can eventually turn into liking something that you otherwise wouldn't like. Yeah, it's like, there's, it's one of those things where if you see something new that otherwise you just wouldn't really care for, but the way it is presented in-game, or the way you find it in-game, it intrigues you, it might get you to like that thing more than otherwise. Like, if I saw, somebody said, oh yeah, this is like a new Pokemon in the thing, and just plastered a picture of like Hatterene on the wall. It's like, okay. It's another vaguely humanoid-looking psychic type. Just kind of meh. But, then you have the way that, you find out in the game where, oh yeah, you have Beedee with Hattrem, and then Hattrem, Hatenna. Then Hattrem, and then it evolves into Hatterene. He's like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's like his thing. That's like the rival ace. And that makes me more interested in that thing, because I'm not a fan of, Gardevoir, I'm not a fan of, Jinx, Gothitelle, that's the one. Like, those humanoid-looking psychic types, Alakazam, they're human-like, and just, like, I don't care for them all that much, but seeing the thing, go from this little tiny ball thing with just a big hat to, basically the ace of Beedee's team, is like, that makes me more interested in that Pokemon. Okay. That gives me a more thing of intrigue. And it makes me have a bit more of like an appreciation for the Pokemon that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And that's one of the reasons like I don't go to leaks, is that the way a game will present something can often make or break that. And if you just have a thing plastering saying this is what it's going to be, you don't have that level of introduction, I guess is the way to phrase it. You don't have that same grounding. And it can basically turn you off of something that otherwise you might find a bit interesting. Which is why, again, I avoid spoilers like the freaking plague. Because I want to have those natural, organic discoveries. Let's see what you guys voted on for the poll. Because we are going to be ending off soon. Yeah, as expected, I did expect that the A button, B button was going to be the grand loser of this one, because like you need the A and the B button to play. You need the A and B button in order to play. If you don't have them, you're kind of screwed. If you can't click buttons, gaming is just not gonna exist. You kind of need those buttons in order to do stuff and things. Nope, no Minior. We don't have our little space Rock-a-Doom. I mean, I love Minior. I freaking love it. It's, again, like Minior, another one of those Pokemon. It's a ball. You see Minior? It's a ball. But, oh, it's this space thing that has all these different colors, that got the shields down mode. Like, that's pretty cool. I like the way that thing plays. I want to try that myself. Like, that's what I mean. Those the organic discoveries. They make or break things. And that's again the reason I don't go into spoilers. Is like I like the organic nature of discoveries. And we swap it. We do a little exchanging. Go. Starfall or Starburst. I mean, I still go with yesterday pre-ordered copy of Violet. Nice. I am annoyed actually at the pre-order bonuses for Scarlet Violet though, because I pre-ordered from GameStop, and then a few days, like it was like 2 days after I pre-ordered from GameStop, Target released. Oh yeah, if you pre-order from Target, there's this little like figurine that has all of the starters on it. And I'm like, I would have loved that little stand. But because they announced like 2 weeks before it gets released, I didn't go. I didn't know because I didn't think they were going to release anything. And now I'm pissed. It's like, can you cancel pre-orders? Can you like cancel a pre-order from GameStop and then just like order it somewhere else and get completely refunded? Because if so, I'm probably going to do that then. Because I would like those figures rather than just like the pins. Oh yeah, Starfall's over. Oh, nice. I like those. I like those names for MINIOR. Like Starburst, I think works best because, you know, it bursts out of the shell covering. I think that those are both great. But yeah, I mean, I'll need to check to see if that is possible to do. But it's like, I'm so sad. I would have loved that. Hello, Jarno Geen. Are you new here, Jarno? Jarno, sorry, I got something in my throat there. Are you new here? If so, how are you doing? And welcome in. Here where I live, they give people a copy of the games at 2 p.m. next Thursday. Wow. Holy crap, Kayla. That's amazing. I wish that. Not refundable. But go to a gift card or trade in credit. Okay, thank you. I just always feel bad if I mispronounce a name. I always feel bad if I mispronounce someone's name. But welcome in. Welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy stuff here. You know, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. We do all kinds of shiny hunting and stuff here. We are presently hunting for MINIOR. And we are presently on a very, very long Dynamax adventure hunt for shiny Ho-Oh. Wait, where's... Oh, crap, I just forgot. Where is my... I just realized I don't remember what I... Oh, there it is. Okay. I couldn't remember what label my window for this one was on. Oh, thank you very much for that. Thank you. It always means a lot when new people come in. It's like meeting new people is what makes making these streams. Thank you. Also, sorry if I look down on occasion. I actually have a DS that I'm playing because this is a raid up to a capture card. And it is force of habit for me to just look down at the screen on the DS when it comes to playing games. On the DS, like, I just do it on occasion. I mean, granted, it probably comes from Mr. Dungeon Explorers of Sky, where I actually do use the touchscreen a lot. So it's just like force a habit to look down. And when it comes to this game, it's kind of don't need to be looking at the screen for that. So I mean, it's also just like bad coordination. When I'm like Kid Icarus, I'm gonna need to look at the screen the whole time. I'm normally very anxious around new people because I can relate to that. I can relate to that. You would actually probably enjoy a friend of ours' channel, Anxious Christian. He actually does a lot of things involving stuff like that. Like he also makes Pokemon stuff, and he's very, very big on like health and anxiety problems, things like that. You know, helping people with those. So I think you'd enjoy it. He's probably linked on the channel somewhere. And if one of my mods could go grab Anxious's link, please. I think you'd love to be around his place because he's just one of the nicest people you will ever meet. Absolutely wonderful human being. How close are we on these eggs? I saw a casual. I saw. That's pretty cool. Let's see when this one hatches. Is it gonna be soon? Maybe close to hatching. Okay. So these are gonna be our final 5 eggs of the day. Gonna be wrapping in everything soon because we are gonna be going on a raid soon. When we end when we end off streams, we go on a raid. So basically, we just send some love over to a friend of ours that is also streaming, or just someone else in general who is streaming. Because we end off here, you know, just for whatever reasons, but you know, it helps everyone's channel grow. It's one of the things that we like to do as creators. We gotta help each other out. The one time spell my name. This one time someone spelled my name. Yeah, I remember that. Someone misspelled it. There we go. There we go. Okay, the egg is hatching. We're doing these things in batches of 5 because we pick up the eggs all at the same time from the PC. They will all hatch, like, one step after the next. And I just do that. It saves on timing because otherwise, okay, well, walking the same distance just multiple times over just wastes time. It is efficiency. Plus, the other thing is that with MINIOR, it takes so many steps to hatch a MINIOR egg. You will get more than 5 eggs of the same thing before the egg hatches, so you might as well just do it. It's not like with Azrael, where it hatches fast and you can accumulate a thing of 5. MINIOR is adorable. I do like how it hatches in shields down mode, though. I do. It makes the shiny thing a lot. Well, then again, it still does, but the shing, sparkle animation, so that would still give the shiny. Sometimes I stream nothing. Really? Really? You have a channel as well? You have a channel as well? Alright. I'd like to watch that then. I would not mind watching those. I enjoy watching other creators. We actually do some Nuzlocke and things on our channel as well. We are presently doing a Soul Link with our friend Foos. He's one of the creators we do some stuff with a lot. And stream on Twitch. We have a Discord actually linked in the description of the stream. If you want to join that, you can actually post the links to your Twitch streams in the self-promotional chat there. If you don't mind. We can tune into those occasionally. Alright, I think this might be the last one in this set. Maybe. Yep, we have a Discord linked below. One of my mods could probably go grab the link. It's probably down there somewhere. I think this is the last egg. But yeah, we do a Soul Link with Foos, and we're probably gonna be starting a versus Nuzlocke series with another creator soon. So that's something to look forward to. Yep, that was the final egg of this batch. With that, let's go find someone who is also shiny hunting. Let's go send him some love. Let's see who's live. Oh yeah, Jonesy's still doing his Kaizo Ironman. Salute to that man with frickin' Kaizo. Those people are crazy. Those people are crazy who do. I mean, granted, I did Kaizo myself for a while, so well, again, we all know I'm crazy. Let's see, who's shiny hunting? Who's shiny hunting? Ooh, Shiny Blue is hunting a Mora. He's hunting a Mora. That is one hunt that we actually. Soul Link is basically a Nuzlocke where you play with a partner, and if the partner loses a certain Pokemon, say a Soul Link. I mean, we explained a little bit of the rules in the Soul Link, but basically, if one of our Pokemon gets knocked out, then the Pokemon on the other person's team that is linked to also gets knocked out and can no longer be used. So it's very interesting in terms of how the overall thing works. Hey, Natalie! You came in kind of at the wrong moment, Natalie. We're actually raiding right now. Also, that is an adorable emote. Is that from another streamer? Because I think that with members, they added it so you can use emotes from other streams. Mechanized Nexus, right? But we are so like yep, that is exactly what it is like. And let's just say one of our teams got utterly obliterated by a certain NPC late game, and he basically reduced the team to 2 Pokemon. It was suffering. But yeah, we actually are about to go on a raid right now, Natalie. We're gonna go raid. We are gonna go and raid Shining Blue, who is presently hunting shiny Amora. A shiny hunt we ourselves did, and was one of our luckiest shiny hunts we ever had. So, we're going to be going potentially live later tonight with, again, the Ho-Oh Dynamax Adventure Hunt Spree, where we are still 4 times over odds on that thing, and my suffering never ends. See you guys next time. Let's rock and roll.